Good morning, it's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself. And today I want to talk about manifesting your future dream life. Okay, so this is the life where you're not sick. You're not sick. You are healed, you're healthy. Not only are you healed and healthy, but you live a full life. So you're able to do all those things that you can't do now, right? To work, to have friends and an amazing social life, to travel, right? To make money that you can spend traveling and socializing and on people you love and doing things. You know, you might have your dream house. You may be able to do all those things you can't do, like running and walking and yoga and exercising. You are engaged with your children's life. You and your partner go out on dates. You know, you have wonderful times together. We're talking about a full life that we want to manifest here, that we want to envision, that we want to become. Not just, you're healed. Like, what does that look like? And you in your healed life, you take care of yourself, right? You do yoga, you do walking, you eat amazing healthy foods that are good for you, right? Vegetables and fruit and grass-fed meats and seafood and all kinds of food. And we don't put junk food kind of out in the future. We know that if we're healed and healthy, we're going to be eating healthy food. And so you might have abundant food that you're able to eat. So a lot of people with chronic illness think, oh my God, I'm down to a handful of 2, 3, 4, 5 foods. Like, I can't even eat broccoli, or I can't even eat, the healthy things. So all of those foods are included back in your repertoire, right? When you're healed, you can eat anything gloriously healthy for you, okay? No reactions. So this is the kind of life that you want to manifest, your healed life, that gives you a fulfilling life, right? One that you're happy to live with, okay? So once you have the picture of who you are in the future, I want us to kind of break down how we do this. So we talked a little about last time on how to start to listen, right? We use all our 5 senses to create this future version of ourselves and to manifest it. So in the last video, I talked about listening, right? Reprogramming our mind with audio, right? We listen to just like subconscious brain retraining programs. When we get up in the morning, we tell ourselves thoughts that are better than what we had before, right? We're replacing the thoughts with the thoughts that we want for our future, like we're healing, we're getting healed, right? We listen to guided meditations on that you're healed, right? So this is one way when we listen, right? But if you've ever been a mom or a parent, you will know that listening it's very easy to tune listening out. And the reason I say this is, if you're a mom, you've had kids that you have had to say things to like 20 times and they still don't hear you, right? It is very easy when we're replacing our thoughts and we have this internal talk. It's still very easy to tune ourselves out. Or when we're even listening to something guided that's talking about our future and our body being healed, it's still easy to turn that out. Now we have to do that in those moments of waking and before we go to sleep, and as often as we can become aware during the day, replacing our thoughts, and we still have to do that. But let's talk about some of the best ways that people learn and relearn, because what we're really doing here is we're relearning, we're reprogramming the subconscious mind. Okay, so audio is one of them. So we're listening to other people, we're listening to our own internal talk. So the obvious one is visual. Okay, so what we see, really, for most people, it really burns in there into the mind. So there's many different ways that we can actually manifest something by writing things down, by seeing it visually, by seeing it on paper. So oftentimes this is why everyone will tell you to make a list of all those things, right? Yoga, good social life, healed, healthy food. Like, this is what I want my goals to be. And we write it down. And when we write them down, and we put that page somewhere that we'll see it every day, several times a day, and that we'll actually read it, then by seeing it and then reading it with the internal audio, it helps even more, because now you see it and you also hear it. So, but we're going to take it a step further. So writing down a list is super important. So if you haven't written the list of all the things that you want in your future, right? Just from all the areas, right? Like you want to feel good in all these different areas, the ones that we just talked about at the beginning of this video. But now we need to take it a step further, because those are just words that we're seeing. So we're seeing the words and then we're hearing them as we read them. But we need images, visual images. And this is why a lot of people use vision boards. And I know you're thinking, oh God, vision boards, like I did this way back years and years ago when The Secret was in vogue. And I'm too old to do a vision board. I don't want to do a vision board. It takes too much work. Where am I going to hang this vision board? I don't want to hang it over my bed. I don't want people to see it. I don't want to look at this vision board. But let's be honest. Vision boards, as kind of old-fashioned at this point as they are, and as childlike it is to create them, and as hard as it is to hang them and re-look at them, this is why people who make vision boards generally are successful. And that's because they're actually seeing the images of people traveling. They're seeing the images of people walking. They're seeing the images of people hiking. They're seeing the images of people traveling all over to these wonderful places. They're seeing the images of their house or their car. They're seeing the images of themselves at work, right? So when you post all these things and paste all these things on a board, and then you look at them every day, the visual, really more than anything, is really going to seep in to help you manifest your future life. So, I'm going to give you an example from my own life. I did not create a vision board for this new house that I'm building, but I did start with an image. So a couple of years ago now, I sat down and I thought, I want to build my dream house. And I wrote it on a list and I thought about it and I told myself, like, you can do this, you should do this, you should try to do this, just do it, you know. And then it happened. I took out a paper and a pencil and I sketched the dream house. And then I sketched the outside, I sketched the front, I sketched the back. I erased it, I drew different sketches of it. Then I started sketching a floor plan. I sketched the floor plan of the main room and the downstairs and the upstairs, and I sketched everything in, and I worked on this for a couple of months. Every day I worked on it sometimes I worked on it for an hour, sometimes I worked on it for 10 minutes. Sometimes I went to bed, I started sketching it in my sleep. So it wasn't like it was a vision board that I put a picture of a house and stuck it up, but I literally did draw this image. And then I saw it every day. I got it back out and I worked on it every day. And it was that image that went from an idea in my head, you should build a dream house, you should just build it, to actually pen to paper and then seeing the image every day. Sorry, I just got cut off there. My phone just rang. It was actually my contractor. So that actually blends in nice to this story. So because I visualized it every day, like I was seeing it. So I didn't actually create the vision board. I didn't even think I was making a vision board. But essentially I was making a vision board, right? I put the picture. I had exactly what it looked like. I started doing details on the outside, little gables and the way the roof would go and what kind of, what the siding would look like or the stone or whatever. And then I went in and I went room by room, right? I was like, the kitchen would be here. And like I was laying out floor plans and just making it look great. So when I was done this process, after a couple of months of just kind of playing around and really like envisioning this dream house in my mind, and then putting it on paper, I was seeing it every day. I still at this point never expected that I would actually do it. But I was just inspired at that point to be creative and to get this in my head out on paper. And it was a really fun process. I didn't know I was visualizing. I didn't know I was making a dream board, right? A vision board. So when it was finished and when I was happy with every little detail of it, I was like, wow, this would be awesome. It seemed to come alive more in my mind, like it was possible. Now, I still had no money, right? I still had no way to pay for it. I still had no concept of doing it. But yet, it seemed more real. It seemed alive to me. It seemed like it was possible. Like, even though I didn't have the money for it, and even though I didn't have a contractor, and even though I didn't have the permits, and even though nothing had taken shape on it yet, it just seemed possible. It seemed like, yeah, that's my house. That is my house. I've lived in it for the last couple of months in my mind. So it felt like mine already. So I put it away for a bit and I kept getting it out every once in a while. And then I would just look at it. I showed it to my husband. I showed it to my dad. I showed it. We talked about it. Suddenly, it started to become real to them, right? Like they could see themselves living in it. They could see the house. They would say to me, oh, what about putting that there? Or don't forget about, we need to have space for this. Or they'd start to give me ideas on this house that was not even real. I'd change the diagram and change the board. Okay, so I'd change everything. And then it just started to become real to them too. Little did I know it was because it was on paper. And I had been talking about this for years, like 5-10 years before it was never real to anyone. As soon as it was on paper, it was literally almost real to all of us. So then I said, well, I'm going to take this to an architect to draw up. Because we can't take it to a builder the way it is, because nobody would know the structure of it or what to price it at, or I'm going to have it drawn up professionally so that we can take it out to a builder to get a quote. Because we might as well just know how much it's going to cost and get a quote. And so everyone was like, yeah, okay, get a quote. Go get a quote, right? So I took it to an architect, worked with him. Then it started to become more real as it came on his screen, and we worked on it real, right? And you could start to see it take shape and more like in 3D shape. And it was just amazing how this process worked. Well, I still didn't know what would happen after I took it to the architect. I still had no plans to actually build the house, no permits, no money, no anything to build this house. And finally, like a year later, after the architect had gotten finished with it, because he takes an architect, I don't know, maybe it took him 8 months, because it took a while. He has different clients and whatever. Got it back, finally, everything was looking good. And then I decided to take it out for quotes to different builders. So I gave it to 3 different builders, had them look at it and asked for a quote. They had meetings with me. They discussed it. They started to talk about certain finishings and certain things. And all of a sudden, this was so real. What started out as something kind of fun that I sat down to sketch was suddenly real. I was sitting in a builder's office talking about details of a house that I still had no intention at this point, or no idea or no way that I could build. So anyways, then we get all the quotes back, and it's just like, it's way too much money for everything. So I show my husband and my dad, and they're like, oh yeah, that's too much money. So, but now I have the contract, the quote, the money, like everything sitting there, the house plans, the architecture, everything. And I'm like, well, maybe it's not too much money. Like, let's sit down and talk about this. Like, what if we do this? What if we do that? We started brainstorming ideas. Like, we never would have considered doing it had it not been in front of us, had it not been visual. But because we were looking at it, and now it seemed like it was real on an architect's plan, it was real for a builder. Everything seemed real, even though it seemed unrealistic with the cost that they quoted me, it still seemed real to all of us at this point. And so now it became a matter of, well, how are we going to do this? Not are we going to do this, but how can we? Started brainstorming other ideas and other ways. And suddenly it came up with the idea that my dad would also move in with us, and he would contribute some, and he would live there too, because it was a big house. So that he would sell his, and then we would build this one. And you know, my husband works and I don't work yet, and then the idea would be that I, come January of this year, would also get a job, and that income would help. So I still have 2 more months. I still have no money. I still have no way to make an income, but I told my husband that I would make X number of dollars per month, and I would start in January. So I still have no idea how that's going to manifest it, but now that it's real, now that I have to, it seems like I just have to brainstorm a way to do this. So it's very interesting. Okay, so now I'm going to bring it back to health. It's very, very interesting that we can say things to ourselves all day. We can even hear things, even at the most appropriate theta sort of sleep meditation like times, right? But when we see it, it really starts to take shape. So those images that you can cut out, maybe old pictures of yourself when you were active, when you were beautiful, when you did take trips, before all this happened. Get some pictures of like the best times in your life and put them on a board, put them up for you to see. Then cut out pictures of magazines or off the internet or whatever of people socializing, traveling, working, enjoying themselves, running, doing yoga, eating healthy food, vision of all the food that you can't eat but you think is healthy to eat. Like say you're sensitive to broccoli or apples or whatever, put apples and broccoli all over your vision board, people biting into them. Let's see the images of how amazing it looks, how healthy and vibrant, and start to imagine yourself first and see with your own eyes through visualization the actual image of the things that you want to do in the future. So we're going to talk a little bit about creating a vision board, and we're going to do that right in just a minute. I'm going to go inside.
Okay, so right now I want you to go get a blank piece of paper and a pencil. So if you have that, go get it right now. There's your inspiration. Do you see the image? Please go get one. Pause this video and go get one. Okay, so when you come back, we're going to talk about just writing a list of all the things that you want for your healed life. When you're healed, when you feel better, when you're healthy. Okay, this might be 5 years into the future, or it might be tomorrow, but it's not gonna have any sickness on it. No sick related things like, that you have to do all these things in order to be healed. Just what your life looks like when it is. So I've done my list, so I'm just going to let you take a look at it here. So there's my list. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so the first thing I put is full natural foods diet. Organic, from the earth, no restrictions. I put daily meditation. Okay, so we're gonna talk about these. So rather than let you read my list, I will read it to you. So I'm just gonna try to set my little thing up here. Okay, so I put a full natural foods diet as the first one right up at the top there. And why did I put that? Organic, from the earth, with no restrictions, because I think when I'm healthy, I'm going to be eating healthy. I'm going to be eating whole foods. I'm going to be eating them in their natural state. I'm still going to be doing all the things that I'm doing now organic, even if I'm healed. But I just don't want all the restrictions. Like, I feel restricted by certain foods that are even healthy, right? Because if you're on paleo diet, you're restricting a whole category of grains, which I probably will still keep to a minimum because I just don't really believe in them, and dairy. But it would be nice to be able to have a piece of raw cheese at one point if I wanted to, without any consequences. Or, from the earth, like I have done so many diets that I'm sensitive to a lot of foods with sulfur in them or different things. So like I would just want to be able to have all the vegetables I want, all the fruit I want, all the grass-fed animal products that I want, and just really enjoy this. So when you write it down, you really get a sense. I wrote daily meditations I want to be doing every day. This is how I envision my future to be. I eat whatever I want. I have this daily meditation practice. I do yoga where I'm flexible. I'm not flexible. I've never even been able to touch my toes. So even though I love trying yoga, I'd never keep it as a daily practice because I'm just not super flexible. But in my healed future self, I see myself as super yoga queen. Okay, daily walks, being able to do runs, daily runs if I want to, or workout classes, living in a lake house and having it be a super healthy home, entertaining, lots of entertaining with friends and family, beach fun, the endless summer fun, you know, campfires and outside and just enjoying the summers, social gatherings with great food and, you know, Christmases and big Thanksgivings and just wonderful things. I want a close group of girlfriends, which I don't have, and it would be great to be able to go out for a girls' night or a girls' weekend or a girls' dinner. So like a close group of girlfriends, date nights and weekends away with my husband. So just really an intimate, wonderful time for us. In the future, I see easy, loving, close relationships with all my family and friends, my husband, my kids, my parents. I see fun hobbies that I enjoy doing. I have time to do them, and I wrote a few down: paddle boarding, writing, art, golf, making furniture. I like to paint furniture, photography, and then I wrote something new, anything new, being able to try new things. I wrote have a successful YouTube channel. So my channel can't even get monetized yet. It did reach 1,000 subscribers, but I'm still quite a far away in watch time. But just having a successful YouTube channel would be wonderful because I enjoy making these videos. Maybe having a book or a best-selling book on how to heal yourself, and having online courses about health and wellness and healing yourself. I would love to do a home decor business. I love home decor and interior design. Maybe go back to school for interior design. Anything in the coastal modern farmhouse feel is what I wrote down here. I wrote traveling, and then with family, I didn't list out all the places, but you could write like to all the locations you want to go. Like I would put Europe down there, some beach vacations, maybe Bora Bora, Tahiti, the South Pacific, Australia. There's so many places I would love to go with my family. Maybe do home exchanges, whatever. So this is the list that I created in just a couple of minutes. And so you can create your own. So pause the video and write it. It literally will only take you 5 minutes, and then come back. We're gonna do another exercise. Okay, so once you have your list made, you're gonna zoom in on the very first item. So I have full natural foods diet. So we wanna try to create like a board. So I've gone ahead and I've done my second little sheet here, and I've put a diet. Now this is just really rough because I've just written down a few things that I consider to be a super healthy diet that I want to see in my future. And then, I've gone ahead, so you break it out. So you basically take this list, take the first item and break it out, and then like make it even more come to life. Now we're seeing the words on this page, but now I want to see a bit more of a visual. So I've broken it out into a little visual here where you can see I have vegetables, steamed and raw, lunch, dinner, soup, salad, steamed. Over here, most of my plate, I've got grass-fed meats and different things up here, oils and fats that I consider to be great as the main diet. And then up top, I've got a smoothie, basically a greens and veggie and a little bit of fruit in that smoothie for breakfast, and a green juice every day as a snack. So you can see it's not the majority of the meal, but it is on there. And then over here I have fruits and nuts are optional as snacks. Okay, so that's basically what I would consider it. Now we start to visualize more, right? So what I've done is I've taken my list, I've taken the top one, I've brainstormed a little more, and now I've made like a visual, okay? But you can see this visual makes it a little more real, right? It makes it a little more clear, but still we're just seeing words. So now we want to see pictures. So hang on just a second. My computer now. I'm going onto Google, and in the bar I'm gonna type whole foods, healthy, and I'm gonna put in the word paleo in here as well. Just because I know I'm gonna get a lot of good vegetables and meats coming up. So now I'm going to click images, And boom, we're gonna see a ton of images of the kinds of foods that we wanna eat. So then you might grab a couple of these images, like you might grab some up and say, okay, that's great. So then you put this on your board. Now I probably wouldn't put that there because of the peanuts, but you're gonna go back, right? You're gonna look at all the different pictures that appeal to you, that you're like, yes, I would eat this. This should be in my future self. These are the kinds of meals or whatever that I wanna see when I look, at my board. So you'll just go and you'll get some vibrant vegetables, make them look great. Whatever you want to be eating, you want to just make it look great. I'm going to avoid the treats there, and I'm just going to get like maybe 5 or 6 pictures of just like really vibrant foods, right? So something like that. We're just going to zoom in on it. And yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We want the visuals, and then we're going to go and we're going to do that for everything on the list. So we're gonna go back to Google, and I can't remember now, but I think my second one, or one of the things on my list, was to travel, right? And then, so I would just say travel, and if you know where you wanna travel, so then you've broken it out on your second list, and you've, like if one of your places is Bora Bora, just say, okay? Then you're gonna type it in to the Google search engine, and I know you know how to do this. We're gonna go to images, and we're gonna see some awesome pictures, and whichever pictures sort of appeal to you on here, you're gonna pull them up. So say you think of that you've always wanted to go and stay in an overwater bungalow, then that's the picture you're gonna pull up, and that's the one that you're gonna put on your vision board. So we're making vision boards here. So basically we're taking our list, we're breaking it out, we're making a more visual list, and then when we pin these up on our wall in each section, we actually have the visuals that we look at. So if we want to go back, we're going to put, so now we're going to type in our search engine. We're going to type in some words like social, family, events, fun. Maybe we'll put some words in like that. We're gonna look for our images, and we're gonna see what images appeal to us on here. Maybe we wanna put something like this on our board, right? To show like, hey, that's what I want my life to look like. And even if it's not your family, it's still great to be able to put some pictures up and what it represents, right? So you're kind of gonna pick some pictures. Maybe you wanna go on a nature hike with your family or go camping. So you would pull up the pictures like that and put them on your board, okay? If you have pictures that have appealed to you from the past, maybe you want a lot of adventure at the beach. So maybe you're gonna pull up pictures like that for social life. If you want your friends, maybe you want a picture of, maybe you wanna put dining or eating, and you're gonna put friends in there. And then whatever comes up, maybe you want that to be part of your vision board. You're gonna have some friends on your vision board, right? So we are going to just kind of be scrolling, looking for pictures. So we're breaking out our list and we're making visuals. Now it doesn't have to be anything massive. Now you can make this document, hang on. Okay, so you can make this document right on your computer. So you can just pull the images, get a whole bunch, and then you can print them out, and then if you want, you can cut and paste them on a bigger Bristol board. Now I know this takes time. It's an old time thing to do a vision board. I get it. I understand. It's not exactly, you think like, what is the point? Like, I'm suffering, I'm sick, but we're looking to the future and we're looking at it. And again, we're using all our senses. So the last video, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. It's really going to talk about how we speak to ourselves, what we choose to listen to, what times a day, the meditation, guided imagery about healing that we're going to listen to. But then we also have to change not only our auditory, but our visuals. So it's very hard We're gonna get old pictures of ourselves, fun pictures, and then we're gonna project forward to the future, and we're gonna use the internet as a tool just to pull all these pictures very quickly, print them out on your computer, cut them out, put them on a board. You can do all of this so quickly in one night when you use Google. You don't have to look through old-fashioned magazines and try to find what you want. You just type it into Google and boom, there it is. So it's very quick, very easy. And when you put that vision board in a spot that you can see it every single day. Okay, so I know it's tempting not to, right? It's tempting if you make a vision book, then it's easy to just like put it away, put it on the shelf, or put it under your bed. But the key is to see it every day, because when you see it, it starts to become reality. Okay, so just like me, when I was starting to build my dream home, if you remember, it was just an idea. It was just a thought in my head. It was just something I kept saying to myself in my head, and it wasn't real. But it went from looking through stacks of magazines that I have here, just totally looking, and it went from that to going to Pinterest and grabbing a whole bunch of images that I like about the exterior colors and styles and different elements that I liked in homes. This is all from Pinterest, and just like putting it together kind of room to room. And so it went from looking at that to doing sketches, to things like sketches, floor plans. Here's the back of the house that I sketched up. It's a walkout basement with all of this. So it went from this actual real plan. So there's the front of the house, and then if you go to the back of the house there, it looks very similar to my original drawing. There it is. And there's what the architect came up with. Now that's huge with all these windows. And so at the time that I did these sketches, I was looking through magazines and just like, what do I want? What is the dream? And like drawing it out, going from that to sketches, to going to room plans, to going to that, and then to going and getting a contract. So here's a proposal from a builder. So then builders would come along and submit their proposals. So you got to remember, this was all in my head with no way to make money, no like way that we could pay for it, afford it, no knowledge of building houses, no permits, no nothing. And all that materialized. And wait till you see this.
Okay, here we are at the site. You can see, look at that house. It's all coming together. It's so hard to believe this is the back. So to me, this is just the most incredible thing. I still actually have no idea how I'm going to pay for this house. It's crazy to me that it was an idea from magazines that translated to an idea on the page that translated to an architect that now, look at behind me, is coming to fruition. They're almost done framing. They're going to be done framing this week. And the thing that I want to express to you here, the thing that I want to talk about is I didn't have anything when I started this, and I still have till January until I figure out how I'm going to pay for it. We sold our house and we used all the money from the sale of my house to get us to the 25% of the draw that we have to pay this week, actually, when they complete framing. And the rest of the money will have to come after that. Obviously, we're going to borrow from the bank. My husband does have an income, but I did promise him that I would make $2,000 a month at least by January. So again, I have no idea how I'm going to do that. And here we are. So it's just crazy to me. The moral of this story is, when you want to manifest, you really do need to visualize. You need to see it, because it wasn't real to me until I put it on paper, and it certainly wasn't real to my husband or my dad, who sold his house and is moving in with us. I'm just going to show you the water down here. So we're looking down at the water here. Isn't that just gorgeous? So, yeah. So the fact of the matter is, it wasn't real to me, it wasn't real to my husband, it wasn't real to anyone until we put it down. And every time I made it more real, every time I went the step further by drawing it out, getting clear on the floor plan, by taking it to the architect, by making it more real, and by visualizing it like into fruition, the more real it became on paper, the more real everybody just believed that it was going to happen. And I turned my husband around from absolutely we're never going to build a house. How could we afford that? How are we going to do anything? Like, we have to go through all this process and permits and this and that, and we know nothing about building a house. You don't even have a job, you're sick, like it's just not possible. He believed, and the only reason he believed is because I believed and because I saw it. So you cannot, just hearing it or just telling yourself over and over is not going to work. You need to visualize. So you need to see it. So if you haven't yet created a vision board, written out your goals, looked at them every day, made a board or made some sort of a visual that you look at on a consistent basis, and you use it to, drive yourself forward, and you keep creating with it and making it real and realer and realer until suddenly, like, it still blows my mind that the framing is almost done. And I cannot believe it, that it went from something inside my brain that was like maybe this could happen in another lifetime to, oh my God, it's sitting there. What am I going to do? How am I going to pay for it? Like what is happening? This is actually real. So if I can do it in the state, like being sick, and I was not well when I started the progress about 2 years ago. I was still struggling daily, but yet I decided I'm going to manifest this. I'm going to manifest the house of my dreams. And if I can do that, I can manifest anything. And I think it's important that we're going to start to look at manifestation a little bit more. This was an example that I gave you. The next video, we're really going to take this to your health and how you can manifest your healed dream life and your healed body. So let's do it.